Today I want to teach you the 5 distinctions of human mastery. Partnership model, sexual consciousness, self-mastery, relationship mastery, and finally, how to embody infinity flow. The relationship between men and women is broken. Just as displayed in the Me Too movement or Time is Up, an explosion that revealed the misunderstandings, the differences that have been there for millennia. I would like to invite you to look inside for a moment. Are you furious? Or perhaps helpless? Feel victimized? Or feel guilty? Or just not knowing what to do? Regardless of countries, governments, organizations, families, intimate relationships, it always boils down to 2 people interacting and relating with each other. The prevailing relationship model is no longer working. We need a new model. Until now, we have been living in a hierarchical model where one is up, where one is down, where one is better, the other one is not so good, where one is smarter and the other one is not, plays out within myself as well as in relationships and in our total understanding of how we relate in the world with each other. We call it patriarchy or a hierarchical relationship model. Of course, the same would happen if we had matriarchy. It wouldn't be any different. So this vertical model no longer allows us to create and co-create together anew in partnership. For that, we need a totally new model. To solve a problem, we cannot resolve it from the place and the mindset that we created it from. So we need a new mindset. And in terms of relationship and shifting out of the flat into the round world, we want to familiarize ourselves with 2 cornerstone interventions. The first intervention is to learn the distinctions and practices of the partnership model. And the second intervention is that we learn about sexual consciousness. The partnership model is a horizontal model. And to really live in the partnership model, we want to learn the distinctions and practices to cultivate that. So what does it mean to live in a partnership model? There are 2 distinctions, 2 places we want to become more aware of, which has to do with the feminine and masculine, or yin and yang. And this shows up within all of us and in any relationship, no matter if it's heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, transgender relationships, because we all have this polarity within us. All of us are based in estrogen and testosterone. So what does that mean now with moving in a partnership model? So when we look at the yin and the yang, we could describe the yin as flowing, open, circular, listening, receiving, yielding. The masculine energy is, or yang, is directional, it's focused, it's intentional, it's linear. I want to cultivate to be in both dimensions at the same time, where I can be open and listening, and where I can be grounded and decisive. So in a moment of trigger with my partner or with a coworker, I can breathe and tap into my yin listening while I'm attentive, and then when it's time to speak my voice with respect and dignity. I now introduce you to how to navigate in the partnership model and how to cultivate sexual consciousness. There are two dimensions we want to cultivate. The first one is to have self-mastery. Without self-mastery, I cannot move differently in any relational model. And for the self-mastery, I need to become familiar with connecting with my life force energy, with my emotional energy, and with my mental energy. In order to become the master of my thoughts instead of being mastered by them. You know, this thought of, what is she talking about? Oh, I have to go in a moment because, oh, I forgot to turn off the gas stove. Chatter, chatter, chatter doesn't have me be present. So how can I become the master of my thoughts, emotions, and sexual self? That is what self-mastery is about. So let me give you a little taste how to actually bring this into your body. At first, we want to start becoming focused and calm. So if you could sit down in a comfortable position, and then when you're ready, close your eyes and exhale all air. And then put your hand on your belly. Exhale, emptying yourself out. When you are ready, taking in a deep breath, filling the belly, extending the belly like a big balloon, up into the chest and all the way up to the top of the head on the exhalation. Following the breath down through your torso and out of your base into the chair. Let's do this one more time. Deep breath in, filling the belly, the chest. Feel the flow of the breath through the throat, all the way up to the crown and back down again. Then continue breathing in your own rhythm and notice how you're feeling right now. By following the breath in this way, we can start activating and guiding the flow of energy. Energy and breath go hand in hand. If we don't breathe, we die. It's rather obvious. So if they go together in dying, they must go together in living. This is what we put to use here. While I don't activate energy, it's already there from conception on, I can affect energy. So I can affect my life force energy, I can affect my emotional energy, I can affect my thought energy. And the access to doing this in terms of self-mastery is come to stillness through that breath. When we breathe into our bellies, the parasympathetic nervous system gets activated. And with that, the feel-good hormones like the endorphins, serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin. I don't even have to work on it, I already feel better. And that gives us this moment of pause. And in that moment of pause, I have choice. Do I want to stay angry? Or am I committed more to harmony within myself and in my relationship? And that is where I can choose what I want. So of course that also applies to my sexual self. I can either be addicted to that, impulse I spoke, and there's nothing wrong about being horny and excited and all of this. However, if this is the only dimension that is available to me, it's very narrow. What I'm speaking about is expanding the horizon, where we can use our sexual aroused energy, moving it through our whole being, connecting with our consciousness self, and learn to fuel our consciousness self so that we can create in the outer world. So you already get a sense of what the potential there may be. This is not foregoing the pleasure. This is making use of the pleasure to imbue my physical health, my emotional well-being, and my consciousness self. And now I'm ready to bring my self-mastery into my relationships. And of course, these relationships may be an intimate relationship. It may be a professional relationship. This doesn't mean that I have to become sexual expressly in the professional realm. So, in order to shift a relationship, the other doesn't have to be in the same place as I am. Because sometimes I will find myself in a relationship where there may be hardly any awareness on the other side of themselves. In intimate relationships, I do recommend to partner with another who is equally interested in evolving. Otherwise, it can get really difficult because the dimensions have a discrepancy. Then in partnership, we want to cultivate that, what I just pointed out, in self-mastery. We want to have practices together of listening, being in our feminine or yin energy, while the other trains themselves in being their speaking up energy, or how to deliver an upset. An upset is always correlated to some promise or to an expectation that didn't get fulfilled. A complaint. How can we deliver a complaint in a way that the other one can hear it? It's no longer a complaint. It's actually then opening up a possibility for a new creation. But we want to learn how to do that. And so in partnership, let's start out with intimate relationships. It's really that each of the partners need to do their work in self-mastery. In terms of coming together, creating intimacy and love, we are all familiar with falling in love, which is a rather unconscious thing, because when it disappears or dissipates, I don't know what I did at the time of falling in love, so I cannot replicate it. What I'm bringing here is really about creating intimacy and love as an ongoing practice. And there I need to be in my self-mastery and then inviting the other to be in their self-mastery. For example, when I am dissatisfied with something in my relationship with my beloved husband, I know when I come to him and acknowledge him for, taking me to a professional meeting just for the sake of supporting me, to acknowledge him for that, and then saying, darling, yesterday I really would have liked to receive your support when we did the dishes. Actually, I would have liked you to do the dishes. And next time when I cook dinner, could you do the dishes? Instead of, here we go again. I'm cooking, I'm doing everything, and you're just sitting here doing nothing. Guess what? The first thing that happens is that his testosterone drops. And when his testosterone drops, he doesn't want to connect with me. It's a biological thing. So by me being open in my feminine, not to be nice and pretty, that's not what I'm talking about. It is to be open from my heart and sharing and asking for what I want so he can hear it. And his testosterone goes up when I say, darling, thanks so much for taking me to the meeting. And I'd love for you to do the dishes next time when I cook dinner. Can you feel it? Relational mastery. I want to introduce you to a simple practice called infinity flow. You can use this at any moment when you feel there is some dissonance, some fighting showing up, some difference. And it's all about shifting our energy. So when we get upset and get angry or don't feel heard, we usually go into either the attack or the flight mode. And that comes from our left brain hemisphere and has to do with the adrenal, all of that. So how can I shift that? So you take in a deep breath, just do it with me, and fill up your belly all the way into your heart. And you open your heart, and then on the exhalation you let the breath trickle down and out into the ground. Again, deep breath in, into the heart, open the heart like a flower, and then let it go. The heart center is the center of love, first and foremost for yourself and then for someone else. So when I connect with my heart center, that openness arises. I become more connected with my love self that allows me to listen to another from that place instead from the attack self. And so we tap into our infinity flow. Remember the horizontal model? The infinity symbol really lives already here within me, and I can tap into it at any moment so that I can shift my energy and be available from that listening heart space that allows me to be truly present with the other, to be able to actually listen to their upset without getting confused with my own upset. Now that's a mastery that needs to be developed. However, when you practice this every day, it'll be available to you. Now you can, use this in your business relationships. Just try it out, experiment with it. And then of course also in our beloved intimate relationships, just like this couple that came to us recently, and they love each other very much, but they had some differences or disconnections in their intimate life. He loves to have sex every day, and she loves to have sex with him too, but she wants to be invited. Given that the one who is more centered in their masculine energy, no matter if it's a woman or a man, really feels when they want to connect, they feel it in their sexual center. The one who is more connected or based in their feminine energy, no matter if it's a man or woman, they start feeling it in their heart center when they want to connect. So you can see there are two ships passing in the night. However, when the one who is more in his masculine or yang energy could just breathe up into his heart, and the one in her feminine energy or his feminine energy connects with her heart, they come together again in that infinity flow. And when the woman's heart opens, her sexual center opens. And when the man's heart opens, and being guided, grounded in his sexual energy, that is where the circuit arises, where the attraction, the connection comes into play. Regardless of what relationship you are in, you may be a world leader or at the grocery store, develop this awareness of where you are in that infinity flow and where the person you are relating to is in that flow. Have both of you fallen out of it, or one of you is in it and the other one has lost it? And that will assist you, this awareness, in coming back, in returning to the flow, including inviting the other to come back into that partnership, horizontal relating. And bringing my awareness to my heart center, to open my heart, to listen and to connect and to invite. I also want to let you know that the heart center is actually in the midpoint between our sexual center and our consciousness center. I call it the reconciler. So both in the partnership model of that horizontal flowing of infinity and the channeling and the connection and integration of our sexual and consciousness self, in the middle of all of it is the love connection. Imagine a world where we can live in the infinity flow together, be it as world leaders or corporate managers, or the business owner, or with your partner or spouse, where we are in our feminine and masculine power, where we can co-create and thrive together in mutual respect and appreciate each other's gifts. Would you like to live in this world? Join me in the daily practice of the infinity flow so that we may finally shift from a flat world to a round world of human mastery.